Shalom u'bracha, everyone. Welcome back. It's so nice to be together again. Test of Hashem, to continue with this topic that we've began, the topic of creating deeper, more powerful, more meaningful, and beautiful relationships. Test of Hashem. So first, I would maybe begin by bringing out a nakuda about relationships in general, and recognizing the importance, the great importance, what it really means to us to build meaningful relationships. You know, it's a question sometimes to ask people, and it's interesting to see the responses. What would be if I offer you a beautiful home on a beautiful beach, trees, gorgeous jet ski, 5-star food, the most beautiful amenities, just paradise. Perfect everything. But here's the catch. You have to live there for the rest of your life all alone. You get a Jaguar, a Mustang, Range Rover, whatever you want. You get the most beautiful house, most beautiful car, everything wonderful, but you have to live there the rest of your life alone. And let's say the alone means also no phone, no internet. Would you take it or not? No sane person says yes. Of course not. Life is about friendship, company, sharing. We so desperately, it's so built into the human psyche. We need relationships. We need connection. We need to mean something to someone. We need to have someone that means something to us. Chas v'shalom, to be alone doesn't make a difference how nice everything is around you, is the greatest pain. We want to feel cared for. We want to feel we have someone to care for. We want to know that we matter to someone. And obviously the ikr really for a Yid is to know that we have this relationship with Hashem who cares for us so much. And the relationships we have with the people around us are meant to be the tools that give us the inner world to help us appreciate our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with Hashem Yisbarach. To feel His love. When we learn to love others, we feel loved by those around us. It helps us to be able to also process and feel Hashem's awesome love for us, desire for us to have good. When a parent tells his child something, which he's telling the kid because he loves the child and he wants the things to be good for him. I'm not bossing you around, and I'm not. That gives us the ability to comprehend, to really truly experience and feel what it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving us Torah and mitzvahs, l'toiv loch kol hayamim, because He wants it to be good for us, and so on and so forth. So, if we recognize how crucial relationships are for us to live a healthy, vibrant, happy human life, part of human experience, such a deep, central element in human experience is connecting, relationships. It's like fascinating just to think about it, how important it is for us to be deepening the relationships that we do have. So we don't live on a desert island. Baruch Hashem, we live at home. We have a wife and children. We have a husband and children. We're at home. We have brothers and sisters, mommy and tati. We have people with us. But if we don't capitalize on making those relationships meaningful, we're losing out. You could be with other people, but you're not truly connected to them. And the joy, the delight, the impact that it's supposed to have upon your life could be so small of a percentage of what it's able to be. So this life work of taking these relationships and building them into strong, meaningful, beautiful relationships is so critical for all of us. So today, Be'ez Hashem, we want to perhaps talk about a second idea, a second concept of creating relationships with have a deep and powerful connection to them. Perhaps with Hashem's help, we'll begin with this idea. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to give the Torah to Klal Yisrael, there were 600,000 Yidden, 600,000 Yidden experienced Yetzias Mitzrayim. 600,000 Yidden stood by the foot of Har Sinai and heard Anochi Hashem Elokecha, and were zeicha to have Kabbalah HaTorah. The Sefer HaChinuch in the Akdama relates or says a fascinating insight into understanding this. Why? Like the concept behind there being 600,000 Yidden. And he says, every single one of those 600,000 people that were there by Har Sinai got the Torah together, but they each understood and related to the message of Torah in their own unique way. There's 600,000 distinct, different Deos in Klal Yisrael. We know the truth is that every human being is unique. Every human being is different. People have different fingerprints. They have different jaw, different structure in the inner ear. But really, that's like small. Every one of the cells, of the billions of cells of every person's body has his unique DNA in it. So no two people are the same. And the nefesh, the ruach, the neshama, the life energy, the soul of everyone is so vastly different than anyone else ever. We're all unique. We're at Tzelem Elikim. And just like Kavyachal Hashem is echad, yachad, umiyuchad, every is unique, so too every one of us is special in our own way. But be'ikr, if we split down the 12 Shvatim, 600,000 Yidden, the Sefer HaChinuch says there was 600,000 Deos, 600,000 different ways of relating to the Torah, of understanding the Torah, of comprehending the Torah. And each person that was there, although we heard the same words from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Noich Hashem Elokecha, but what that meant to each one was a little bit different than what it meant to anybody else. The message, what they understood, what that meant to them. You're the oldest in your family, the youngest in the family. Your parents are Rosh Koilel and Beis Yaakov Rebbetzin. Your parents are Balabatim or Balei Tshuva. Like, we're all different. We're all unique. Hearing the same idea means something different to each one of us. Nature and nurture. So now we recognize every single person who got the Torah has his own view of it, his own understanding of it, his own idea of what it means to him. In davening, we say, Avinu Avarachamon, in the bracha that we say before Kriyishma in the morning, where we ask Hashem, just like every day is a new day, and we say the bracha of Yoitzer HaMa'oros, HaMechadesh B'tuvay B'chol Yom Tamid. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always recreating and investing life energy for the world, the sun, the power of energy that drives. There's an Or Chadash every day. It's building. There's a new, physical energy in the world. There's also true that every single day there's a new ruchniistic energy. There's a new Asher Noichi Mitzavcho Hayoim Vayuad Dvarim Eila. And every day we ask Hashem for Torah because every day there's a new depth of understanding that we're meant to take out of life. And really that's true for each one of us. When we look in the bracha, the lashon of the bracha, v'sein b'libeinu bina lahavin lahaskel shmai limud lamer lishmer v'lasim Chaim, as kol divrei salmo teresecha bi'ava, we ask Hashem to help us understand, comprehend His will that's buried in the Torah HaKadoshah, the word of Hashem. We all ask, every one of us, lilmaid, we should learn, ulalamin, and we should teach. In theory, and just really to bring out the point, if we're all going to learn, then who are we all going to teach to? Everybody's going to be lilmaid, so I don't have anybody to be malamin to, but everyone's asking, I want to learn and I want to teach. Again, I'm just to bring out this nakuda. We could all learn the same Tosfos, but I still have what to teach you. Because the way, and you understood it, you learned the Tosfos, you know it. But I still have what to teach you. Because my understanding, my view of it, my comprehension of the concept is different than yours. And Memela, I'm there to teach you mine. I'll teach you the way I understood the Tosfos. You'll teach me the way you understood the Tosfos. Because each one of us understood it differently. And that's true about Kol HaTorah Kula. So every single Yid says, V'sein v'libeinu bina, lahavin u'lahaskel u'shmoya, lilmoid u'lalamed, lishmer v'lasus u'l'kayim, is kol divrei salmo teresecha. The whole Torah, every bit of it, means something unique to me, different than it means to anyone else in the world. And I'm asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give me the schus to share the insight that I have with others. Part of what it means to live together with others is that your life is broadened, enriched, impacted, affected, changed by those around you. When someone lives, we each grow up, and sometimes you watch a conversation happening between two people. We don't agree. Sometimes we do, but often we don't. There's like the famous saying, you have 3 Yidden and you have 4 opinions. We see things differently. That's beautiful. Not a problem. That's great. Wow, that's a special nation. Each one has his own strong, not just like, okay, whatever, this, that. Like, no, each one has his own view of things. We're intelligent. We're dynamic. We have opinions about things. We each see things in our own unique way. As long as I allow myself to stay within my view, I'm never going to be broadened. I'm never going to become bigger. It's just me. The way I see it, that's the way it is. The gift of life, the challenge, the gift of having relationships is to learn to connect. To take in from those around me what they have to offer, their way of looking at things, and then I become bigger. I become broader. If we look at it this way, and I'm using the muscle really of Torah concepts, but it's true about every part of life experience. When I allow myself, when two people are having a discussion, I have my opinion. When you're sharing with me your opinion, if I allow myself, okay, let's put my opinion aside for a second. Let's put aside the way I understand it, the way I see it, what it means to me. Tell me, share with me. And I'm focused now totally. I'm just listening to you. Your opinion, your way of looking at it is just as true as mine, even though it might be 180-degree opposite. Some people, it was an interesting life lesson, so many aspects of it. But one of the things of Corona was how so many people had such strong opinions that were exactly opposite each other. There were people, and like there had to be some sort of meeting point over here because they were affecting each other. There were people, I spoke to Yidden that I know that are Choshve Yidden, B'nai Aliyah, Talmidei Chachamim, Yirei Shamayim, Midos Tovos. And they felt that this whole thing was a test from Hashem, and like what we need to do is just show that we're going to daven and we're going to learn, and it doesn't affect us. And it's definitely true. It's coming from a certain mindset, a certain lifestyle that a person looked at the world that way, and he saw this as an assign from the Yetzer Hara. And Adarabba, we have to go on, we have to, And there were other people that felt so strongly that if you're going to Binyanim, it's Pekuach Nefesh, it's mamish killing people. And also Erlich Yidden, also Talmidei Chachamim, also beautiful midos. It's different people's life. If someone grew up in a certain community, in a certain place, and this was the way he looks at the world, that's his view. If we put these two people together and they're like just arguing with each other, and each one is trying to convince the other one he's right or he's right, they're never really going to get anywhere. Like, we know that from the outset. You're not going to convince him that you're the right one, and he's not going to convince you. What's the goal here? The goal is for me to become bigger. This person grew up in a different world than me. His association to life is different than mine. Could I broaden myself? Could I hear, I want to allow myself at some level, a little bit, to experience the world through your lens. If I would have grown up in Mea Shearim, if I would have grown up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, how would I have looked at this? Let me hear. You're a real person. You're intelligent. You're good. And this was your perception of this experience. When I allow myself to listen, I allow myself to connect. I allow myself to take into me a little bit of you. We become now a chibur. We become connected. Chaver, a friend, is milashon chibur, unity. We become connected through sharing this experience together with each other. If we learn to listen, if we learn to be able to want, to absorb into I don't expect you to agree with me. I don't expect you to perceive it the way I perceive it. I want to become bigger by now. Like, let's say it this way. You have 1 out of 600,000 parts of Torah. And it's, again, Torah is like the muscle which brings this out. It's true about every bit of life, understanding life, experiencing life. Every part of life experience is really a way to understand Hashem's goodness, to be living Hashem's goodness. And everybody experiences that. I have 1 out of 600,000 parts. If I chas v'shalom, go to my grave, still with only my 1 out of 600,000 way of looking at life and understanding, I missed out so much on life. I'm going so small. just me. That's like one crumb. Maybe it's like an intelligent crumb. It's a solid crumb, but it's still a crumb if I allow myself to listen to others, to feel what they're experiencing, to know what does it mean to go through. Have someone that, Baruch Hashem, you have 6 kids. They're all in yeshivas, Beis Yaakov. They're learning, they're steiging, they're doing great. But your best friend down the block has 2 kids that are struggling. One has ADHD. One kid went through a very hard time when he was young. He was traumatized by something. I don't know. If you could just listen to them. What does it mean for a parent to go to sleep at night and be so afraid about how their kids are going to grow up? I want my children to be happy and healthy, and I'm nervous for them. Just to learn to connect. And the truth is, it's also the other way around. For the person who's like struggling to be able to hear, listen. What does it mean for a parent that has, Baruch Hashem, so much nachas and so much joy? What does that mean to you? Let me understand you. Let me connect. Shmiya, listening, is the key to chibur, is the key to connection, because it allows me to have a little bit of you in me. I took in your experience, and now I know what you feel. I relate to you a little bit better, a little bit more. I comprehend you. I know what you mean. Opening up, letting go. And that's really what life is all about. It's about the key to connection through listening to other people. Rabbi Isai, when we think about this, really, the Torah is so full of this concept vis-a-vis us and Hashem Yisbarach, our King, Melech Malchi Amlochim. When we learn Torah, what are we really doing? What are we supposed to be doing? V'haya im shamoya tishma'u el mitzvosai. V'haya ekev tishma'un. To listen. To like, I want to comprehend, Hashem. I want to know how you look at it. I want to know how you feel about it. I want to have HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your daya inside of me. Listening, and I would point out, which is a fascinating thing, that when 2 people are listening to someone talk, just like this person talking has his own way of perceiving that we're both trying to listen to, it's also true that we both understand him uniquely a little bit differently. Listen, we have Ruvain who's talking, and Shimon and Levi are both listening to him. The way Shimon is going to comprehend Ruvain's words and the way Levi is going to comprehend Ruvain's words is also going to be unique to each of them, because Shimon and Levi are each different. And it's also true in Klal, that's again going back. When Klal Yisrael was listening to Hashem, every Yid heard Hashem's expression. But what we're supposed to be doing is listening, hearing, taking it in, absorbing the message of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will. And by listening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I connect. Because now, Hashem, I understand. I have you. The famous Vayeda ha'adam eschava ishtoi. The idea, the das is about chibur, connecting. When 2 people talk and share, if we truly learn to listen to each other, we're connecting. Because now I understand you. I have a piece, like your mindset is found by me also. I comprehend you and you comprehend me, and now we're connected. That's the idea of Shmiya. It's fascinating, and we know that the single most impactful, intense, powerful, and important relationship ben Adam lechaverei in the world is a husband and wife, a spouse. The concept of being 2 halves of a whole. Like the pasuk relates to us, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam, he didn't only create lichatchila, zachar and nekeva, no, but first he made Adam, one man. And then he puts Adam to sleep, and he takes a piece of Adam and creates Chava out of that. And the concept is that it was Zoisapam etzem atzoma yubasar mi besari lezoisi kore isha ki meish lukacha zois. It's a piece of Adam that's created into Chava, a piece of its Tselem Elokim, which is a broad idea in its own concept. But it's true that when they get together, it's recreating one wholesome unit out of these 2 distinct different parts. A man and woman are so different in their natural core makeup. They're each a different chelik of the Tselem Elokim, each a different chelik of the chelik of the Chaim Mimal, which again originally was found in Adam Rishon as a whole, and then it was split into 2, the Yud and the Hey, the Shem Havaya, the Chochmah, the Bina, 2 different chalakim of a neshama, 2 different chalakim of a Tselem Elokim. A woman needs to be able to share by nature, much more than a man. She is looking for having someone else to be together with her in her experience. People come home and the wife wants to tell them what happened today, where they went, who they met, what they saw, something exciting that happened, something scary. They want to just share. Men by nature are not, they don't feel a need for that. They don't, come back, what's up, how you doing? Very good, like very shallow, very superficial, really, in a general sense. For a man to be a good husband, he has to be able to be there, to fulfill the tzrachim, the tzorchei hanefesh of the other half of his soul. A woman needs to share, and the husband needs to be able to listen, to take it in. It's not just a chesed that I need to do because my wife needs to share, so I have to listen, like to make her feel good. She's more in touch with the mahus of this human need of connecting through sharing, through understanding each other. When I'm doing it for her, I'm really doing it for me also, because it broadens my ability to be able to connect to people around me. And the truth is, through learning to listen to a spouse, really listen. A woman is not happy if the guy's just living and he's like sitting there on his phone like, She wants you to hear her, to connect, to feel understood. When a husband learns to truly listen to his wife, which b'chlal is what midos tovos would demand of us, because that's her nafshi, his stick of need. When a husband learns to truly listen to his wife, through that he's also going to learn to truly listen to Hashem Yisbarach. Hashari b'loy isha, misha ein lo isha, shari b'loy Torah. Someone, you can't really learn Torah because you don't have the ability, and there's many angles of this idea, but this is one of the basic and most simplest ones. Through learning to listen, you learn to connect through listening. I now understand you. And that's the nechama of a woman, when she feels connected. Through that, you also know what it means to connect to Hashem Yisbarach, through listening to Hashem Yisbarach, the shleimus of the relationship. Rabbi, I want to share with you a beautiful idea within the word Shmiya. We say also by Shema, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, like to bring this idea into you, what this means, that Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the unity of the universe, the unity of Chesed, which is dispersed throughout all of the creation together. But the word we say is Shema. Shema, to listen. The shirish is the shin and the mem. Shin and the mem is related to, is the word sham. You're there. You got it. You made it to your destination. Sham is related also to the word shame, someone's name. The name of a person's shame is related to sham. If you got him, the name sort of defines the person's core, his ikar, his core personality, his koichas hanefesh, who he is, what he's going to contribute to the world. There's a Reuven, there's a Shimon, there's a Levi, there's a Yehuda. It's a different soul. It's a different essence. It's a person that's built for different things. When you have the shame, the name of the person that's like Sham, you got him, you're there. You get his kishkis, you understand who he is in his core and the essence of his being. And it's true about Shema. The way you get to understand someone, like we said before, Ve'rastech li la'olam v'yodat es Hashem. It's like erison, it's like connecting the soul. A man and a woman cleave together and become one. Their nefesh is one. So true a yid together with Hashem Yisbarach. Ve'rastech li la'olam, ve'rastech li be'emunah v'yodat es Hashem. You know Hashem, and the concept of yediyah, of understanding, is that it's chibur through absorbing the will, the knowledge, the understanding of Hashem into who you are. And if a person learns to listen, he's adding little bits, chips, onto him. He started with 1/600,000th of the understanding of the comprehension of life, but he brought it himself. He has another one and another one. He met this person outside the Makolan and Yankel in Shul after Koil on the way back home, on the subway, on the way home from work. And I brought in and brought in and brought in and brought him. I take more and more. And I have more and more facets, more and more sparkling, shining angles to myself, because I learn to see and comprehend the beauty of other people's perception, the beauty of other people's understanding. The ikar chibur that we have to each other and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is learning to truly appreciate each other for who we are. A person's, the pain of loneliness is being stuck within yourself. When you learn to be able to absorb and connect to the person around you, it enriches you. You become so much bigger. And that's part of the joy of life, of being able to have more within me because I'm connected to the people around me in a meaningful way, by truly understanding, learning, and taking into myself who they are. We should be Zoicha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should allow us to feel the power of the beauty of this, to know how joyful it is to become enriched by hearing the opinions, by hearing the experiences, by absorbing the life of the people around me into myself and becoming bigger through that. And it's so interesting that people have such a sense of nechama, such a sense of comfort when they feel understood by somebody else. The fact that someone I could cheer and what's going on in my heart and soul is not stuck within me. Somebody else could listen and understand and empathize and feel for me and understand what I'm feeling at some level. Not 100%, it's in his way, obviously. But I feel understood. That makes me feel so much more complete and whole, knowing that there's another person that shares with me what I've went through. We should be Zoich HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us all to live lives that are filled with emulating His goodness, lives that are filled with blessing, lives that are filled with Kedusha and Tahara and Torah. We should be Zoich to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to connect to the good and all the wonderful people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us in our life, to have relationships that are powerful, meaningful, uplifting. Together we should all go to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'mheira B'yameinu, Amen V'Amen. Have a beautiful day.